Oliver felt the silence of the new house press down on him like a heavy blanket outside. Unfamiliar streetlights cast long, strange shadows across his bedroom wall. He missed his old room, his old friends, the comforting sounds of the city. He knew the quiet here was thick and unsettling, broken only by the distant, rhythmic tick-tock drifting up from downstairs. It came from the grandfather clock standing sentinel in the dimly lit hallway, a relic from the house's previous owner, Mr. Pendleton, an elderly man who had moved into a smaller cottage nearby, but left the clock behind. Claiming it belonged to the house itself, Oliver found its steady beat both lonely and strangely compelling. Curiosity finally overcame Oliver's unease one rainy afternoon. He crept downstairs and stood before the towering clock. Its dark wood was polished to a deep shine, intricate carvings of twisting vines and strange creatures seeming to move in the shifting light. The brass pendulum swung with a hypnotic regularity, but as he looked closer, Oliver noticed something extraordinary. Tiny, impossibly detailed figures were etched into the clock face around the numbers. A knight near the 12, a tiny ship sailing past the 3, a dragon coiled around the 6. They seemed almost alive, shimmering with a faint, internal light. He gently placed his palm against the cool wood, and for a heartbeat, the tick-tock seemed to synchronize with his own pulse. That night, unable to sleep, Oliver tiptoed back to the clock. The hallway was bathed in moonlight as he stood there. The tick-tock seemed to grow louder, richer, filling the silence. Suddenly, the figures on the clock face glowed brighter. The knight raised his tiny sword. The Sheep's sails billowed, and the dragon blinked a gleaming eye. Then, the light spilled outwards, not blindingly, but like warm liquid gold, flowing across the hallway walls. The shadows dissolved, replaced by a breathtaking landscape, rolling green hills under a twilight sky. The tiny knight riding bravely towards a distant, candy-colored castle. Oliver gasped, his heart pounding with wonder, not fear. Night after night, Oliver returned. The clock became his secret doorway. One evening, it conjured a vast, silent ocean where luminous fish darted around his ankles. Another night, a bustling marketplace filled with tiny, chattering creatures selling stardust and moonbeams. He learned that the clock responded to his quiet thoughts and deepest wishes, painting worlds born from his own imagination. He started sketching the wonders he saw, filling notebooks with dragons and airships and whispering forests. The crushing loneliness of the move began to lift, replaced by an exhilarating sense of boundless possibility. He also began visiting Mr. Pendleton in his small cottage, drawn by a connection he couldn't explain. The old man's eyes, though kind, held a deep sadness. He spoke sparingly of the clock, only saying it had been his companion for many lonely years after his wife passed. It seized the heart, Oliver, he murmured once, looking far away. It shows you what you need to see. Oliver sensed the clock had been Mr. Pendleton's own escape, his lifeline through grief. He started bringing his drawings to show the old man, whose eyes would light up with a flicker of their old spark, a fragile bridge forming between them through shared imagination. Then, disaster struck during a clumsy attempt to retrieve a lost ball. Oliver bumped hard into the grandfather clock. A sickening crack echoed in the hallway. The majestic pendulum shuddered, swung erratically once, twice, and then stopped dead. The comforting tick-tock vanished, leaving a silence more profound and terrifying than Oliver had ever known. Panic surged through him. The beautiful carvings looked dull, lifeless. He had broken Mr. Pendleton's most precious treasure, the source of his own newfound joy. Guilt and despair washed over him as he imagined the old man's devastated face. The magic was gone, and it was his fault. With trembling hands and a heavy heart, Oliver ran to Mr. Pendleton's cottage, blurting out his tearful confession. To his astonishment, the old man didn't scold him. A gentle smile touched his lips. Come, Oliver, he said softly. Together, they returned to the silent clock. Mr. Pendleton opened the heavy door with a small key inside. Amidst the complex gears, lay a single, perfect, luminous crystal heart, pulsing faintly. This, Mr. Pendleton whispered, placing Oliver's hand gently on the cold mechanism near the heart, isn't broken. It needs a dream to start it again. Close your eyes. Remember the night Oliver squeezed his eyes shut, pouring all his focus, all his love for the wondrous worlds, onto that still point. Slowly, hesitantly, a warm, golden light began to glow from within the clock's chamber. A deep, resonant click sounded, then a single, strong tick, then another tick-tock, tick-tock. The familiar, comforting rhythm filled the hallway once more. The pendulum began its steady, graceful swing as the light flowed outwards. It didn't paint fantastical landscapes this time. Instead, it gently illuminated Oliver and Mr. Pendleton standing together, their faces bathed in its warm glow, reflected perfectly on the clock's glass. Oliver understood then the true magic wasn't just in the distant worlds. It was in the connection it forged, in the shared spark of imagination that could heal loneliness and light the way home. He looked at Mr. Pendleton, whose eyes were bright with unshed tears, and knew the clock was finally ticking with its most important purpose fulfilled. Mending hearts. He felt the steady beat resonate deep within his own chest, a comforting rhythm promising that he would never truly be alone again, as long as he carried the clock within his heart.